If you're over 70 and you still think the way you walk doesn't matter that much, I need to tell you something that might change how you see the next 10 years of your life. The way you walk right now is sending a signal, not just about your legs, not just about your fitness, but about whether your body is heading toward independence or toward needing help with things you do every single day. And here's what most people miss. There's a very specific change in how you walk that can either protect you or put you at serious risk. Most doctors never mention it. Most seniors never think about it. But it might be one of the most important things you can pay attention to, starting right now. Let me be direct with you. When you hit your 70s, your body begins a conversation with you. It's not a conversation in words. It's a conversation in movements. How fast you can move, how stable you feel, how much effort something takes that used to feel automatic. And the way you walk is one of the clearest messages your body sends. The truth is, how you walk predicts more about your future health than you probably realize. It predicts your risk of falling. It predicts your independence. It predicts your cognitive sharpness. It even predicts how long you're likely to live. But there's one specific walking change that matters more than almost anything else, and almost nobody is talking about it. Here's the hidden part that I want you to understand. Your walking pattern at 70, 75, 80, or beyond is not just about your legs or your fitness. It's about your nervous system. It's about how your brain is communicating with your muscles. It's about your balance system. It's about inflammation in your body. It's about your cardiovascular health. Your walking pattern is like a dashboard on your car, showing you the status of multiple systems all at once. When something is going wrong on that dashboard, your walk changes. And most people don't notice their own walk has changed, because change happens slowly, almost invisibly. But the people around you notice, your family notices, and your body definitely knows. The specific change I'm talking about is this. Your gait becomes narrower, your walking pattern tightens up, your stride shortens. You start walking in a more careful, almost cautious way. You might hold your arms differently. You might turn your head less when you walk. You might avoid certain surfaces or terrain that you used to navigate without thinking. This isn't just a cosmetic change in how you move. This is your nervous system telling you that balance is becoming harder to maintain, that confidence is slipping, that your body is recruiting more energy just to stay upright while moving. And when your body has to work that hard just to walk, something is being stolen from you that you need far more: stability and safety. What happens inside your body is actually quite fascinating when you understand it. Your brain is constantly processing information. It's getting signals from your eyes about where you are in space. It's getting signals from your inner ear, which controls your balance. It's getting signals from sensors all over your body that tell your brain where your limbs are and what position your body is in. Your brain processes all of that in real time and makes tiny adjustments to your muscles to keep you upright and moving forward. When you're young and healthy, that system works almost perfectly without you thinking about it. But as you age, especially past 70, this system starts to decline. The signals get a little slower, the adjustments take a little longer, your muscles don't respond quite as quickly, and your brain, rather than accepting that you might fall, makes a strategic change. It makes your walking pattern more conservative. It makes you more cautious. It narrows your base of support. Now, here's what makes this so dangerous, even though it feels protective. When your walking pattern becomes narrower and more cautious, you're actually increasing your fall risk in a very subtle way. It seems like you're being safer, but what you're actually doing is reducing the information your body gets from the ground. You're reducing the feedback your nervous system gets about balance and stability. You're also reducing your confidence and your ability to recover if you do start to slip or lose your balance. A narrower, more rigid walking pattern means less dynamic balance, which means your recovery time, if something goes wrong, is slower. And at 70, 75, 80, or beyond, that recovery time is the difference between catching yourself and hitting the ground. The problem gets worse, because once your walking pattern changes, you start moving less. You start avoiding certain routes or certain activities. You stay inside more. You interact with your world less. And when you move less, your balance system gets even worse. Because balance is a skill that requires practice. Your muscles get weaker. Your cardiovascular system declines faster. Your brain doesn't get the stimulation it needs to stay sharp. Your whole body begins a cascade of decline that started with that one small change in how you walk. It's not the walk itself that's the problem. It's what happens as a result of the walk changing that creates the real danger. Here is what most people miss. They think that becoming more cautious with their walk is the right response. They think that walking slower and more carefully is safer, and there's a grain of truth in that. But the opposite is actually what your body needs. What your body needs is not to become more cautious. What your body needs is to maintain a walking pattern that is dynamic, that engages your nervous system fully, that keeps your balance system sharp, that keeps your muscles responsive. Your body needs you to walk in a way that challenges your balance system just enough to keep it active and alert. The moment you stop challenging it, the moment you become too cautious, is the moment it starts to decline. So what is this specific walking change you should be making or maintaining? It's this. You need to maintain a walking pattern that is relatively upright, that has a reasonable stride length, that doesn't become rigid or overly cautious, that allows your arms to swing naturally, that keeps your head relatively level and allows you to look around as you walk. This kind of walking pattern keeps your nervous system engaged. It keeps your balance system active. It signals to your brain that you're capable, that you're confident, that your body is ready to handle what comes at you. And that signal from your brain to the rest of your body is incredibly important. Your brain believes what your body tells it. If your body is walking in a cautious, narrow, rigid way, your brain gets the message that you're fragile. If your body is walking in a dynamic, upright, engaged way, your brain gets the message that you're capable. The research on this is quite clear, and I want to give you the basic idea without overwhelming you with numbers. When older adults maintain a more dynamic, upright, confident walking pattern, they fall less. They have fewer injuries. They maintain their independence longer. They stay cognitively sharper. They have better outcomes across almost every measure of health and longevity. The people who transition to a cautious, narrow, shuffling walk experience the opposite. They fall more. They get injured more easily. They lose independence faster. Their cognitive decline accelerates. The difference between these two walking patterns is genuinely one of the most important health decisions your body can make. Now here's something that surprises most people. Your walking pattern is not just determined by your physical strength. It's determined by your confidence. It's determined by what you believe your body is capable of. It's determined by your fear. It's determined by your past experiences. If you've fallen before, or if you're afraid of falling, your nervous system naturally shifts toward that cautious, narrow walking pattern as a protective mechanism. Your body is trying to protect you. The problem is that the protection is actually the opposite. The caution becomes the danger. Your nervous system, trying to protect you, is actually making you less safe. This is where understanding becomes powerful. Once you understand that your walking pattern is telling a story about your confidence and your beliefs, you can change that story. You can change the signal you're sending to your nervous system. You can change the conversation between your brain and your body. It's not easy, but it's absolutely possible. People in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s have changed their walking patterns. They've gone from cautious and narrow to dynamic and upright. They've gone from shuffling to striding. And when they do, their lives change. Their independence improves. Their confidence increases. Their risk of falling decreases. Their sense of self improves. Let me tell you what I see when I watch older adults walking. I see people who are still engaged with their world, and they walk with a sense of purpose. They walk with their head up. Their stride is purposeful. Their arms are swinging. They're looking around. They're interacting with their environment. And then I see people who have withdrawn. They're looking down. They're walking carefully. They're moving slowly. They're taking up less space. The difference between these two groups is not primarily physical. It's psychological and neurological. It's about engagement. It's about confidence. It's about the story they're telling themselves about their body and their abilities. Here's what happens in the brain when you change your walking pattern. When you deliberately walk upright, with a reasonable stride, with your arms swinging, with your head level, you're sending information to your brain that says, I'm confident. I'm capable. My body is responding the way I want it to. My balance system is engaged and working. This is normal and natural. Your brain receives that information and begins to reinforce it. It strengthens the neural pathways that support that confident, dynamic way of moving. Over days and weeks, those neural pathways become stronger. Your nervous system reorganizes around this new pattern. And gradually, the confident walk becomes more natural, more automatic. You don't have to think about it as much. Your body just does it. The opposite is also true. When you walk in a cautious, narrow, shuffling way, you're sending information to your brain that says, I'm vulnerable, I'm unstable, I need to be careful, I might fall. Your brain receives that information and reinforces the neural pathways that support caution and withdrawal. Your nervous system reorganizes around that pattern, and over days and weeks, the cautious walk becomes more automatic, more entrenched. You move less. You participate less. It's smaller. Your muscles weaken more. Your balance system deteriorates more. The decline accelerates. So the question becomes, which story are you telling your nervous system? Which pattern are you reinforcing every single day through how you walk? Because this is a choice. It's not a fixed thing. It's not inevitable. It's a choice you make every time you take a step. You can choose to walk in a way that reinforces decline, or you can choose to walk in a way that reinforces capability and resilience. Now let me give you the practical steps. If you want to change your walking pattern, if you want to maintain a more dynamic, upright, confident way of moving, here's what you do. First, become aware. Pay attention to how you're walking right now. Not in a judgmental way, just notice. Are you upright, or are you bent forward? Is your stride long or short? Are your arms swinging or hanging at your sides? Is your head level, or are you looking down? Are you moving with purpose, or are you shuffling? Just notice. Awareness is the first step. Second, pick one thing to change. Just one. Don't try to change everything at once. Maybe it's keeping your head level and looking forward instead of down at the ground. Maybe it's consciously letting your arms swing as you walk. Maybe it's trying to keep your stride length a bit longer and more purposeful. Pick one thing and practice it. Every single time you walk, consciously practice that one thing. It only takes a few days before it becomes more automatic. Third, understand that this is practice. You're not just walking, you're practicing a new way of walking. You're training your nervous system. You're strengthening new neural pathways. This takes repetition. It takes consistency. But it's absolutely worth it. Every walk is an opportunity to practice. Every walk is an investment in your future independence and safety. Fourth, do this deliberately. Don't just shuffle around your house without thinking. When you walk, walk with intention. Walk like you have somewhere to go and someone is expecting you. Walk like your body matters and you're paying attention to it. Walk like you're strong and capable. Because when you do that, your nervous system believes it. Your brain believes it. And gradually, it becomes true. I want to tell you something important. If you've already had a fall, or if you've been injured, or if you have existing balance problems or pain, this might take longer. Your nervous system might have learned some real caution as a protective response. That's okay. The process is the same. You still start with awareness. You still practice one thing at a time. You still do it deliberately, but you might move slower. You might need more time. You might need to work with a physical therapist or a doctor. That's fine. The important thing is that you understand that change is possible. You're not stuck. You're not locked into decline. Here's what I want you to understand about the connection between how you walk and how long you live. It sounds dramatic, but it's true. Studies show that walking speed and walking pattern are among the strongest predictors of longevity. How you walk predicts your risk of heart disease. It predicts your risk of stroke. It predicts your risk of cognitive decline. It predicts your risk of falling and injury. It predicts your ability to maintain independence. The way you walk is literally a reflection of your nervous system's health, your cardiovascular health, your muscular health, your balance system health, and your cognitive health. When you improve your walking pattern, you're not just improving how you move, you're improving your overall health across multiple systems. Think about this from an evolutionary perspective for a moment. Your body evolved over millions of years to move, to walk, to navigate the world. Your nervous system is designed to manage complex movement and maintain balance while moving. That's what your brain is actually quite good at, when you ask it to do its job. But when you stop asking it to do that job, when you become cautious and sedentary, when you reduce the complexity and challenge in your movement, your nervous system says, okay, you don't need me to be as sharp. You don't need me to process as much information. And it starts to decline. It loses its capacity. Conversely, when you ask your nervous system to do its job, when you walk dynamically, when you challenge your balance, when you engage fully with movement, your nervous system says, you need me. I need to stay sharp. And it does. It maintains its capacity. It even grows and improves. This is why movement matters so much as you age. This is why how you walk matters. This is why how you walk matters. This is why how you walk matters. Can have such profound effects on your health and your independence. You're not just exercising your muscles. You're feeding your nervous system. You're keeping your brain engaged. You're maintaining the connection between your brain and your body. You're preserving your most important asset, your capacity to interact with your world independently. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really paid attention to how you walk? Not in the sense of trying to look good, but in the sense of actually noticing, am I walking the way I want to? Am I walking in a way that makes me feel confident and capable? Or have I drifted into a more cautious, tentative way of moving without really noticing it? Because that's what happens. Change is so gradual that you don't notice it until suddenly you realize you're not doing things you used to do. You're not going places you used to go. You're not participating the way you used to. And by that time, the changes have become pretty entrenched. But here's the good news. It's never too late to change. Even if you've been walking cautiously for years, even if you've been withdrawing from activity, even if you feel like your body has declined significantly, you can still make changes. Your nervous system has something called neuroplasticity, which just means your nervous system can reorganize and change and adapt. This capacity doesn't go away at 70 or 80. It's still there. It's waiting for you to use it. The question is whether you're going to take advantage of it or whether you're going to accept decline as inevitable. I want to be very clear about something. If you have pain when you walk, if you have existing balance problems, if you've had multiple falls, if you have neurological conditions, if you have any medical concerns about your walking or your balance, please talk to your doctor. I'm not suggesting you ignore medical advice or push through pain or take unnecessary risks. What I'm suggesting is that you have a conversation with your doctor about your walking pattern and how you can optimize it safely given your specific situation. Your doctor might recommend physical therapy. Your doctor might recommend specific exercises. Your doctor might recommend modifications based on your health. That's all good. Do that. But do also bring up this topic of walking pattern and dynamic movement, because it's important. The reality is that most doctors don't spend much time talking about walking pattern with their older patients. They address the problems, the pain, the balance disorder, the condition, but they don't always talk about the everyday movement pattern and how it connects to overall health and independence. So it's worth bringing up. It's worth asking, how is my walking pattern? Have you noticed changes in how I walk? What can I do to maintain a healthier walking pattern? These are important questions to ask. Here's what I want you to do starting today. I want you to become aware of your walking pattern. The next time you walk, pay attention. Notice how you're moving. Notice your posture. Notice your stride. Notice your arm swing. Notice where you're looking. Just notice. Don't judge yourself. Don't try to change anything yet. Just notice. Then, over the next few days, every time you walk, continue to notice. Get familiar with your current pattern. Understand what you're working with. Then, once you're aware, pick one small thing to change. Maybe it's posture. Maybe it's stride length. Maybe it's arm swing. Maybe it's where you're looking. Pick one thing and practice it. Every single time you walk, practice that one thing. Do this for a few days or a week, until it starts to feel more natural and automatic. Then, once that first change feels more solid, add another small change. Keep building, keep practicing, keep reinforcing this new way of moving. And over weeks and months, you'll notice changes. You'll feel more confident when you walk. You'll move more smoothly. You'll probably feel more engaged with your world. You'll probably notice that you're doing things more easily. You might move more in general because moving feels better. You might be more social because you're more confident. You might sleep better. You might have more energy. These changes happen not because of anything magical, but because you're asking your nervous system to function fully, and it responds by functioning better. Think about what your life could look like if you maintained your independence, your confidence, your ability to move around and participate in the world. Think about what it means to not be afraid of falling, to not be limited by what you think your body can do, to be able to travel, to visit family, to do hobbies, to participate in community, to help others, to live fully. That's what we're really talking about here. That's what's at stake. That's what changes when you change how you walk. The people who age best are not the ones who accept decline as inevitable. They're not the ones who gradually withdraw and become more cautious. They're the ones who stay engaged. They're the ones who keep challenging their nervous systems. They're the ones who understand that how they move matters profoundly. They're the ones who take responsibility for their own capability. And you can be one of those people, not because you're special or lucky, but because you make the choice. Every single day, every single walk, you make the choice to engage fully or to withdraw. You make the choice to challenge your balance system or to protect it by becoming cautious. You make the choice about what story you're telling your nervous system. I genuinely want to hear from you. If you're over 70, have you noticed your walking pattern changing? Have you become more cautious? Have you withdrawn from activities because of concerns about balance or falling? Or are you in your 60s and watching this to understand what might be coming? Or are you a daughter or son watching this about your parents? Please comment and let me know your experience. Because this conversation matters. This is something we should be talking about openly in our communities and in our families. The conversation should not be about accepting decline. The conversation should be about maintaining capability. The conversation should be about understanding that we have more control over our aging than we often think we do. Here's my final thought for you. Your walk is a conversation. It's a conversation between your brain and your body. It's a conversation about what you believe you're capable of. It's a conversation about your relationship with the world around you. It's a conversation about your independence and your safety and your quality of life. And you get to choose what that conversation says. You get to choose what signal you're sending to your nervous system. You get to choose whether you're walking into decline or walking toward capability and resilience.